Alrighty. Welcome back to Nick Lenz's Comic Corner Classics / Non-Classics. This is episode number 1973, double shot number 1867. Now I have basically a Green Arrow trade and a Batman trade. First up it is Green Arrow Volume 4, Blood of the Dragon. This collects issues of Green Arrow Volume 2, issues 21-28. 21 is noteworthy for one big thing. The first appearance of Oliver Queen's two sons. I say first of two because he has another one that basically was first debuted back in Green Arrow number 0, released in 1996, if I'm not mistaken. 1984, excuse me. Yeah, this issue came out in 1989, surprisingly. Now, Blood of the Dragon, this is a 4-parter which introduces Robert Queen II. That's basically what he's called. Now, it is definitely confirmed by the end of the story arc that this is Oliver's son, due to the fact that he's got the same eyes as his father, despite the fact that he basically looks Asian. Well, that's due to the fact his mother is, in fact, Shadow, the beautiful Shadow. Now, the whole thing with Shadow having a child with a member of the Queen family, that actually they would use for the post-Flash reboot, except she didn't sleep with Oliver this time. Oh no, she slept with Robert Queen. Yes, the same guy who has the same name as her son pre-Flashpoint. And they had a daughter together, who happened to be Oliver's half-sister. Yep. Now the whole thing with the Blood of the Dragon, by the way, the arc, this is still Mark Grohl's run, is 80-issue run, with Dan Jurgens, J.J. Brunch, and Trevor Von Eden on the artwork. Now, Blood of the Dragon is a 4-parter, and then we have Witch Hunt, Part 2, Part 3, some 25 and 26, and the last 2 issues basically are just, two loosely connected issues that we'll get to in a minute. Now, mostly put basically in this 4-parter, Robert Queen II gets, now, Robert himself, Shadow's son, gets kidnapped by the Yakuza. And basically, Oliver teams with Shadow basically find her, and they do find him, and they do find the baby, and of course, he's returned to him. And by the end of the story arc, of course, she doesn't tell him that this is his son. But really, it is because they do show the eyes. Yes, the eyes. After basically finding the Yakuza and basically dealing with them. Also, we see in these issues Oliver use a gun, probably one of the rare times he does. He also runs to Eddie Fires. Yes, Eddie Fires, because, excuse me, Mike Grohl loved doing this when it comes to these summer story arcs. Because here's the thing. Okay, here's Oliver's eyes on this page here. You notice they're green. And of course, basically, with this panel here, it confirms that Shadow's son, Robert, is in fact Oliver's son due to having the same eyes. Yep. Now, it's a very good story arc, and the Witch Hunt is basically, in a way, just, Oliver dealing with a witch hunt type of thing. Of course, he goes to the UK. Though this would lead to, get this, basically, Warlord Trevor Morgan showing up. Yep, Trevor Morgan, this really good multi-parter. There's also stuff with basically, now, throughout these few issues, we have him showing up here, and people think he's basically, we also think where you have Oliver and Diana basically having sex, because that's the thing with Mike Grohl's run. He loves depicting these two having sex constantly. And this is happening a lot throughout the entirety of the whole run because of the mature imprint. Let's show Oliver Queen and Diana Lance having sex every issue. Well, the 11 couples, what do you expect? Yep. And then we have this really cool panel here. Now, here we go. The meeting, and of course, we have, this is Trevor Morgan, aka Warlord, a creation of Mike Grohl and Oliver Queen. Now, in case you're curious though, Aside from the fact these two look exactly alike, are these two related in form fashion? Nope. They are not. My guess is Mike Grohl probably felt like using him. Yep. So, an issue ends basically with him punching him. And then you have Diana get introduced him later on in the very next issue, which is so awesome. And I believe this came not long after the conclusion of the I believe it was not long after the conclusion of the Warlord book. Yes, I believe it was, if I'm not mistaken, because he appears just for these 2 issues. And, well, Warlord himself does not really appear again after the... I don't think he appears more on just these 2 issues. Yes, I believe so. I'm going to check just to be sure about this. Let's see. Here we go. Yeah, he appears in these 2 issues, but he does come back for 119, 120. Well, mainly because of the whole thing with Connor Hawk. But yeah, this 2-parter, that's it. Now, you're probably thinking, what book did he previously appear in prior to the book's conclusion? He actually appeared in the final issue of his book, which is issue 133. Yeah, that was the final issue of his original series, which ended in December 1988. And here he is, 1 year later, appearing in the pages of Green Arrow, a book written by his creator. He's here for 2 issues. And then you're probably thinking, okay, where does he go from here? Honestly, not very far at all. He does bring up his wife and his daughter. Yeah, so pretty much in the way after this 2-parter, I don't think that he's used much after this because it just seems as though after this really good 2-parter, which has the guest appearance by him, he doesn't really do anything at all. No, that's the strange thing about Warlord, is that he doesn't do much of anything at all. It's like he shows up here with, well, Green Arrow, obviously, and yeah. So pretty much in the way, like, you probably think, okay, what happened after this 2-parter wrapped up? When was the next time it officially appeared? You might ask, because it was released in 1989. Well, there was appearance made guest appearance in Legends, but that was 2 years prior to this one. So, was Outsiders? You might ask, was that book per se with appearance? Nope, wasn't that one. Okay, so it's not Warlord. I highly doubt he appeared in Warlord. Like, I don't think his next volume was released afterwards. No, I don't think so. That's better. So it's not Warlord. Was it Wonder Woman? Was that his next appearance? Nope, not really. Okay, so what about the Outsiders? That is a no. Okay, so what about Teen Titans Volume 2? Yes, that was definitely his next appearance. Which, that was done by Dan Jurgens. That was like roughly 8 years after his previous appearance. Well, actually, no. He did previously appear in 2 issues of Green Arrow. But you could say probably his next appearance would be in Green Arrow 119, possibly. But yeah, that's pretty much him in a nutshell for Warlord. Great that appearance by him. This book is really good. Give this book a 9.5 out of 10. Just really damn good stuff here. Next up it is Batman Urban Legends Volume 2. Now it contains... Now, typically, in case you don't remember what Batman Urban Legends is, it's a multi-issue book. Excuse me. It usually has about 4 or 5 stories in it. Some might be 6-parter, some might be 3. Some might be standalone stories. And the way these trades work is quite unusual, to say the least, because the first volume contained the 2 big ones. I think it was like Grifter and... Yeah, they had the Grifter story. I think it was no story with Red Hood. I believe so, because they contain just the 2 stories. But not the entirety of those issues. Mostly just Red Hood and Grifter. Yeah, Red Hood and Grifter was the only 2 stories they had in the first trade for this particular trade series. And of course, and it contained the first 6 issues. The very next volume contained pretty much the rest of the stories published the first 6 issues. And they also published stories from issues 8, 9, and 10. They pretty much put everything in what was basically the rest of the stuff. And my guess is they're probably going to do anything with the very next volume for this one, because it only contained issues 11 to 16. Now, it's not all the issues per se, just the two stories in the books that they basically put in chronological order. Basically put the first story in the book, which is basically a team-up story of Batman and Satana. Anybody thinking, who wrote this story? Vida Alia. Yes. Ace the Bat-Hound. Yes, he had a feature in this book called Hounded. And that's done by Mark Russell. Yep, that one's a really good story arc. Though, the one thing I'm not really a big fan of the story arc is, well, the artwork by Kurt Mortzit. Yeah, the artwork itself is not very good. Well, on the part of the humans. Yeah, the humans look pretty bad. And for some reason, I don't know why, apparently Batman is wearing a variant of the Jim Lee costume in this story arc. But, yeah, it's kind of weird. I mean, the animals look fantastic. I love the way the animals look in here. They look fantastic, but Batman, oh boy. He looks okay, but wow, oh my gosh, seriously. Yeah, so you have various other animals. Now, the whole thing with that one is simply this, is that Batman and Ace basically on a case, and of course, Batman gets captured. He gets the utility belt taken away, obviously. Ace is supposedly going to auction up, oh yeah, former owner, re-educated. And we also have a dog called Lex Luthor, which of course can lick people and also can bite people on command. We also have Ursa, a giant bear. Yes, a bear. And they kind of form a version of the League of Soup Pets, kind of in a ways, with the exception, these people got powers, but it's actually, I love the writing for this particular story arc. But the biggest weakness of the story is the artwork. Now, the animals, they all look fantastic. The humans look absolutely terrible. I have nothing against the artist. Now, in the case of the Batman and Satana story, because this makes total sense basically for it to happen. You know, another team story. I think the last time they did this was actually prior to the events of Dark Knight Metal. Yes, I think it was the last known time they had a story arc where they teamed with each other. And that was in Detective Comics, when James Tynion wrote the book. Yep. Now, this book basically explores the whole thing of basically, well, the kind of the history between Batman and Satana, where they're very close friends, possible love interest, possibly. Batman, where Superman's curious. We also appearance here by John Constantine, because, of course, John Constantine had to show up in a book featuring Satana. Because he's still in love with her. Despite the fact she wants to move on from him, basically, nope. It's like, here's the thing. They dated, but they broke up. They are no longer together. And, of course, where John Constantine is written to be a guy who really wants to have sex with Satana. Not exactly lusting after her, per se. It's like he really wants to hop in bed with her. That's kind of how he's written, because it's John Constantine. What do you expect? The guy is a jerk. But he's a very lovable jerk, mind you, yes. Now, at this point in time, we still have Wonder Woman kind of being declared dead, kind of, but not really, because I think at the point in time when these issues came out, I think she just came back from Valhalla, and the lead Justice League arc is actually to him now, because John Constantine, he was actually in the book per se, but he was not a member of the team. He was basically just a supporting character. Not really sure why he was not part of the roster, because John Constantine was one of the characters people think of when people think of Justice League Dark. But in the case of these two stories, they're both good. I love the artwork for the first story; it's really good. The second one's artwork is not that good. The artwork for the first story, what's called Bound to Our Will, is done by Mikola Kamagia and Hayden Sherman. Now, this is the cover art by Jorge Molina, which is beautiful artwork. And the interior is actually pretty good per se. I don't hate it. I like this one better. The artwork per se for the first story is better than the second one. But yes, I do think it's pretty good with this book, a 9 out of 10. Now you might be curious though. It's a library book. Why didn't I buy this? Well, for some reason, I like the first 2 volumes for this series. I couldn't exactly get my hands on the trade itself because every time I go to Barnes & Noble, it's just not there. No, seriously, every time I go there, the book is mysteriously not there. I got the first 2 volumes there, no problem, but the third volume, nope, not there. Do not know why this is. It's just the way it is when it comes to that. But I personally can't wait for Volume 4. And I figure, though, library had the book, so get it there. Okay, so that's episode of you. Next episode is going to be more Green Arrow and a Star Wars book. Yes, and it's a weird one for the Star Wars. Okay, next video. Bye.